Hey guys, welcome to Smoke Trails. So right now in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, we have the Calgary Stampede going on. And during the Stampede, there's all sorts of fun stuff. There's barbecues, chuck wagon races, people out drinking beers, watching the rodeo, and also family-friendly activities for children and adults of all ages. But most importantly, there's barbecue. So in true Stampede spirit, today I'm going to make some smoked barbecued pork ribs. So stay tuned, they're going to be delicious. Now these are St. Louis style ribs. As you can see, they have a good amount of fat marbling throughout. I always try to look for ribs with a little bit of fat marbling, but not too much. I like to have more meat for the rub and the salt to penetrate and for the smoke to get in there. The fat doesn't pick up and absorb all of those flavors as well as the meat does. But that being said, you still want a good amount of fat marbling, but not entirely fat. So on the back of the ribs, you can sort of see the ribs a bit better. They're slanting to the side. A lot of people like them more straight, so if you can, if it's more visually appealing, try to ask your butcher to give you more of a straight cut for ribs. Also in competition barbecue, usually judges will give better points for the straighter ribs just because they're more visually appealing. So to prepare the ribs, what you want to do first is I like to cut off this sort of piece of fat that layers onto the back of the ribs. And also you're going to want to remove the silver skin. So this membrane here is called the silver skin, and despite its name, it's not worth anything. And it's just going to block all of the smoke and the rub from absorbing into the meat. It's also going to tighten up the rack of ribs because the silver skin is going to contract and it's going to make the ribs tougher. So some people like to leave them on. They think that it adds a lot more, retains a lot more moisture in the ribs. I like to remove them. I think it just adds a lot more flavor and results in just better ribs. So to remove the silver skin, all you got to do is sort of start in the middle and use a butter knife just to get under the silver skin, and sometimes it's really tough, so it might be a little bit difficult. Okay, once you get it started, you can grab some paper towel and grip onto it and start tearing it off. And if you rip it, that's fine, just start somewhere else. Okay, now I've got most of the silver skin off. This was pretty tough to get the silver skin off, but I've got most of it now. You know, as I said before, a lot of people like to leave it on. If you prefer to leave it on, then you know, let me know your reasons below in the comment section. So now we're gonna put the rub on, and my rub recipe is gonna be in the description section just below this video, so check it out. In order to ensure the rub binds to the ribs, we're gonna put some mustard on as a binding agent, and this is whole grain mustard. You can just use French's mustard if you want, you know, the regular kind you put on your hamburgers and hot dogs. I like this because it has a little bit of texture, so we'll put that on. We'll just spread it around. Okay, now we're going to put our rub on. Flip her over, and just the same process on this side. Okay, now I'm just gonna let this sit for about 20 minutes just to allow the salt in the rub to bring out the moisture in the meat and really absorb the flavors. So these ribs have been sitting for about 20 minutes, and as you can see, the rub isn't as dry anymore. The salt in the rub has started to pull a lot of the moisture out of the meat, and it's mingling with the spices and now penetrating back into the meat, so it's gonna be really flavorful. So now I'm gonna put the ribs in my Masterbuilt electric smoker for about 5 hours, 4 to 5 hours at 225 degrees Fahrenheit. After that, I'm gonna wrap them in aluminum foil for the last hour or so of the cook, just to make sure that you know, all of the moisture stays in and they stay really tender. I'm gonna use cherry wood for the smoke. Cherry goes really good with ribs. You can also use hickory if you want a more traditional flavor profile, but today we're gonna use cherry. So let's throw these in the smoker and we'll wait for 5 hours and see what happens.
About 2 hours into the cook, I'm opening up the smoker again just to replace the wood chips and also to layer on some more rub just to add an extra layer of flavor to the ribs.
Alright guys, so these ribs have been in for about 5 hours now. The temperature has reached about 155 Fahrenheit, so I'm going to take them out and I'm going to wrap them in aluminum foil now. Now this rack of ribs is about 155 Fahrenheit now. We just took it out temporarily to wrap it up. Wrapping it really helps retain a lot of the moisture and just leads to a juicier flavored rib. So now we're going to add some butter, some melted butter. We'll just get that on there. And some brown sugar. There we go. And I'm going to add in a bit of my apple cider vinegar hot sauce mixture. So I have some apple cider vinegar, and hot sauce in here. I've been spraying the ribs down periodically with this mixture just to keep everything juicy. So I'm going to add that just to give it a bit of moisture to work with. And now we're going to wrap it up so that it's sealed tightly. Flip it over like that. And up. There we go. Now I'm going to throw this back on the smoker for about an hour until it's good to go. Alright, now I'm going to take these guys out of the smoker and throw them on the barbecue. Alright, these are looking good. You can see they're really, really tender. So I'm going to put some barbecue sauce on them. Just some bullseye, basic stuff. I like it. baste it on. And we just want to get the barbecue really hot, just to caramelize that barbecue sauce onto the ribs. All right, that's looking pretty good. So we're gonna take the ribs off the grill now, see how they taste. All right guys, so I got the ribs off the grill. I just threw them on the grill quickly to sear both sides of them and smeared them with barbecue sauce. The grill gets the barbecue sauce really caramelized on and gives it some nice grill marks and some crust. So let's cut into these and see what they look like here. Okay, let's see here. Okay, so there we go. We got nice ribs there, good smoke ring. I'm gonna cut into this a little bit more. Give it a taste. The all-important taste test. Oh man. Oh yeah. Those are really tender. Really tender. Layers of flavor. Layers of flavor. So we have the initial rub, and then, as you know, we use the mustard as a binding agent. Then after about 3 or 4 hours, we added some more rub in to add another layer of flavor, and then added butter and brown sugar, and then we wrapped it up, so that added a third layer, and then smeared it in barbecue sauce and gave it a good sear. So it's got amazing layers of flavor. I'm going to be eating this all Stampede probably over the next couple weeks, so happy Stampede everybody. Have a beer on me. I'm going to start partying now, so cheers. And if you found this video useful, then please hit subscribe below. Thanks very much.